welcome back to the show. Today's episode we have this clean patina Apache on the show. We're gonna not do a wheel it run, we're gonna do a wheel it clean up. I've done a lot of patina cars in the past, basically CLR baths, washing them, clear coating them. So we're gonna start with that probably on the next episode. After we do this, I'll probably work on the stands. I got some white walls for it and this and that, but on today's episode we're just going to concentrate on cleaning it. Vanessa and I will probably work together on cleaning it. You down for this?
Yeah, you sit back. I got this today.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. So looks like Vanessa's going to take the lead on this one. Stay tuned. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe down below. It really helps us out a lot. And stay tuned. It sounds like you're in for a real treat. All right. got the truck all washed up.
That's what you get for not helping me.
So
You didn't help me.
I was there for moral support. Plus, you got this. You know, no point in micromanaging.
Well, that's what you get for not helping me.
I got the truck all washed up. Actually, when it's wet now, you can kind of see what it would look like once it's cleared. That turquoise green looks freaking sick with sheen on it. Right now, I basically follow up with a CLR. I usually use Home Depot's brand, which is a ZEP product. I'll have a link in the bottom below. It's cheaper than a CLR brand. Works just as good. What I normally do is I cut this down 50-50, so half of this to half of water. Use warm water. Actually, the hotter the better. And then I use basically kind of like Scotch-Brite sanding pads. You could usually get these at any of your automotive paint stores. They come in different grits. So usually I'll fold these in half, double up. When you're using this, you want to use rubber gloves because this stuff is really abrasive. It'll start to burn your hands after a while. So go over the truck with this. I usually maybe I'll go over it twice with this. It's going to get rid of most of the white chalkiness. It'll pretty much bring everything to this green. And it would get rid of some of this lighter rust. This it's not going to get rid of, and of course it's not going to get rid of any of the Bondo. So again, it'll pretty much get everything to this nice bright green, get rid of this white chalkiness, and like I said, some of the lighter rust areas. And then we could clear coat it afterwards. It's getting kind of late right now. I'll probably film me sanding it and CLRing it tomorrow, and then clear coating it probably the following day. With the clear, since I do it outdoors, I want to have as much heat as possible to let it dry and bake in. Again, you guys all need to follow Vanessa down. Have her link down below. She did a kick-ass job on this. There's nothing else I could say on that. Go down, follow her. I have her IG down below. She's been doing an amazing job on the past 3 episodes. She's been doing our past 3 truck builds. What more can I say? You know, girls and trucks go hand in hand. So stay tuned. We're gonna have some more interesting content. We're gonna do at least 1 or 2 more episodes on this, and then we'll probably get back to the 65 C10, and then maybe we'll get back to some of our more modern cars again. Again, thank you for everything.
No problem. I did pretty much all of it.
Yeah.
Thanks for your help.
Thanks for nothing, right?
Yeah, thanks for nothing.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna probably finish this up in the rest of this episode. For you guys, it'll be just a couple more minutes, but it'll be tomorrow for me. All right, stay tuned. See you. All right, welcome back. It's the next day here on the 58 Apache build. Now that it's cleaned up, you really get a chance to see what needs to be done on the truck. The other night, after we started closing up, I actually went over it and did a once-over. There were some things like door fitment I noticed needed to be addressed, and then you start to see basically some of the rot areas or some of the things that are missing that you can't really see when the truck's dirty. Once you clean the truck up, you can actually get a better sense of what needs to be done. Then the OCD kicks in. I actually went through and lined up this door. I did that off camera, but like I said, again, it's an OCD thing. I'll show you up on the top of the picture. You can see when we're washing it, Vanessa was trying to actually open this or shut this, and you can see that actually this door didn't open or close. The other door, we had the same issue. On that one in the bed, I'll pull you off the camera right now. All right, so as you can see on this door, I gapped it as well as I could. These older trucks doors are really, really hard to gap, but overall gap and fitment's really good on this. I'm pretty sure this isn't the original door to the truck. lines up and closes really nice now. Of course, I lubed all the everything that's able to be lubed on it, hinge areas and everything. But it's nice and solid now, opens and closes. Before it was actually hitting, binding and hitting between the door and the fender. We have the same issue on the other side, but at least this one opens and closes now. I'll give you once over on the truck. Overall, I mean, for a 58, it's pretty solid. Beautiful patina on this thing. Of course, you got little issues on the bottoms of the fenders, cab corners. Bed's pretty solid. Even has some of its original wood in it. Original tailgate. Go over to the driver's side. So this door, of course, driver's side always gets used more. You can see on this door you have the same issue going on, but actually worse. I don't know if the camera's able to pick it up, but the door and the fender had met a lot more, and you actually have the fender being actually pushed in, the door also being pushed in and folded. And again, this isn't the original door. Luckily, in the bed, I actually found the original driver door. I'm going to end up reusing this door. I'd rather have all the original paint and patina matching. The only thing is this door does need a hinge pocket repair done. If you could see in here, I don't know if you could see where the hinge bolts up, it's all torn out in there. So I'm going to actually get a replacement patch panel. They sell that pocket, and weld that in there and then reinforce it, because these doors are quite heavy, and then put that door on there instead, line it up, gap it real good. This way we have as much original paint and patina on this truck as possible. So this door, I haven't tried even lining it up. As you can see, it doesn't open. It's totally totally binding on the fender. So we're gonna leave this one alone. Since that's an issue, I'm not gonna continue on with CLRing it today and going into clear coating it. What I'm gonna do is take off the wheels, tires. I'm gonna clean up these stock steel wheels and clear coat them, and then while we have those drying, we'll start working on the suspension to lower it. And then, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I do have some white walls for this, so hopefully we could get all that done on this video. I think it'll look nice. Get the stance done, and then get some white walls on it, and then in the next video hopefully I'll have the replacement metal to do that door. Once that door's on, then we can finish the CLR and then clear coat this. So let's get started. Put this thing up on jack stands and get the wheels and tires off, and I'll put this on fast motion, let you watch me use the Harbor Freight tire dismount and get these tires off. Alright, that's my last one. That's my weekly CrossFit exercise. Now let's get these pressure wash cleaned up and then clear coat it, and then we'll get back on the truck. got the wheels all cleaned up and everything. So I basically pressure washed them with a degreaser, so an engine degreaser, and then after that I went over them with one of the Scotch-Brites to scuff them up, and then some soap and water. I scuffed them up basically so the clear coat would have some tooth or adhesion, and then went over them again with soap and water, so they're ready to clear coat. The main thing, I'm just clear coating them as is, since it's a patina build, and I kind of want some of this rust and roughness to kind of show through. So they'll look basically black, but with some wear and tear to them. So they should come out real nice. My first pass is just going to be a light coat, just a tack coat, and then I'll probably do 3 coats. My second and third coat will be heavy. My third coat will be my heaviest coat, but my second coat will be pretty heavy, and my third coat will be my heaviest coat. So let's go. Then I'm using Duplicolor engine enamel, just their clear gloss. The reason I'm using that is since this will be exposed to brake dust and other elements, this will probably be your best choice, and then also handle high heat with the brakes and stuff like that. I've used it many times in the past, and I've always had good results. The other thing I like about this is it dries super fast. Kind of go through them to make sure that you don't miss any spots. I'm going to rotate them too, turn them clockwise, just so you don't get miss shadows from the bottom and stuff like that. Things are nice and wet. All right, let's get onto the truck. All right, so we got all the wheels and tires off. I got it up on jack stands. I don't have tall enough jack stands, so of course this is not the proper way to do this. Don't do this yourself. But this truck had a lift kit on it. I don't usually deal with raised vehicles. Almost everything I deal with is lowered. My biggest problem is trying to get something off the ground, trying to fit a jack underneath it, or you know, lowered life problems. So don't try this at home. Don't do what I did right here. It's not the safest thing. Once I get it down to normal height and remove the blocks, I'll readjust these jack stands and get it better planted on the ground. But first thing we're going to do is remove these lift blocks, and then what I'm going to do is then go through the leaf springs and probably remove every other leaf, or maybe a little bit more, to try and lower it as much as possible. I'm going to completely remove the bump stop because we won't need it at this point. And the lift blocks that they have in here, let me measure them. You're looking at it's hard to measure. It's like a 2. What is that about? It's an odd length. It's not a standard length. Probably looks like 2 1/4. probably something somebody cut and put in there. It's measuring out at 2 1/4. Usually there's standard heights, either 2 inch, 3 inch, 2.5 inch, but that's actually measuring out 2 1/4. It's probably just a piece of metal somebody cut by hand and put in there, because it looks pretty old. Looks like something somebody did years ago. The front too, I do have the option of flipping the top leaf, and which would put the eyes on the bottom and giving us maybe another 1/2 inch or inch of lowered, but I don't think I'm going to do that, because then you would have to either arch the leaf the other way, or reverse and stack the other leaves against it, which would give you no travel. We'll see how low I can get it without doing that. The rear's usually a lot less difficult, because the rears on these come down way easier. Let's see what type of block you have in here. See, this one's measuring out 2 1/2. So just by removing the blocks, you're gonna drop like at least 2 inches, if not more. And then by removing the leaves, you'll keep the main leaf. In the rear, you keep the main leaf. I'll probably remove the next leaf down, keep the third leaf, remove the fourth leaf, and then basically every other. If not, maybe a little bit more. The rear will be very easy. If you see, the rear only has a single leaf wrapped around the eyelet. The front has double leaves wrapped around the eyelet, so the front's a little bit more difficult. I'll be replacing the U-bolts. I got brand new U-bolts. You can try and save these, but for one, these U-bolts are longer, and the threads start at a longer length, so I figured I might run into problems, so I already got new U-bolts. Again, we'll be removing the bump stop on this, so I'm hoping maybe to get in the rear anywhere between 4 to 6 inch drop. By again, front and rear, guaranteed we're going to get 2 1/2 inches, 2+ inches just by removing the blocks, and then whatever we get from the leaves. So in the rear, 4 to 6 inch drop total. The front, hopefully maybe about the same. That'll make a drastic difference, and then putting it on the white walls would be really nice. The rear will come out perfect. The front, it might be stiff, and most likely I'll probably have to redo it once we get this thing running. The front will probably be just done. Well, actually, no, this has a, is it a single or double? Yeah, see, the front, I don't know if you can see it. Let me get around here. The front has 2 leaves wrapped around the eyelet. So I'll see what I can do. Yeah, the front just poses a little bit more difficult. The best way to do the front is to go with a mono leaf, and then on these also to dropped front cross member is the best way to do it, because these are the solid front beams. So like a drop front beam is the best way to do it, or cross member, however you want to call it. So whereas basically they would heat up this section here, stretch it out. It almost acts like a drop spindle. So this section right here would be stretched and raised up. So that's the best way to lower these. Right now we're just going to try and get a nice stance to it, see how it looks. The back would be pretty much finalized, but the front we'd probably have to come back and readdress after we get it running. All right, let's start lubing everything up and unbolting it. Again, I don't know if you notice, it's kind of raining off and on. Again, it's light rain. I'm going to still keep working through it, but just for camera equipment, I might put you guys inside and then bring you guys back out when it clears up. But again, I'll keep trekking through it and keep updating you. All right, let's go. All right, so I'm going to start on the rear first. Again, since I said it was easier. On the U-bolts, I'm just going to cut them off since I have replacements for it. Let's get started by cutting those off, and then after that, I come in here. We'll remove the center pin that basically locates the axle. After we remove that, well, before we remove that, I'm going to clamp these leaves together. We'll remove this, and then I can start removing some of the leaves. We'll put back a brand new center locating pin, and then put the new U-bolts on, bolt everything back together, and that should be done. I'll put you on fast motion, and you can watch me do this. Clamping the springs together so I can actually remove this locating pin. This locating pin will tie them all together. I'll then lower the axle, which will remove all tension off the springs. And then I can slowly remove the clamps. With all tension off the springs, you shouldn't have an actual issue. And then you can actually remove the springs that you want to remove. Pack together. I might have to cut this rear wing if it goes through too many. It looks like it's just going through these bottom two, but if these bottom two come out, then it can help with it. So let's start that and go from there. So there's all my leaves. So I'm keeping the main leaf. I'm going to get rid of the very second leaf. I'll keep the third leaf. Get rid of the leaf after that. Keep the next leaf. Get rid of this leaf, and I'll keep this leaf. So we got rid of 3 leaves. And we can reassemble our leaf pack. Now here's the thing. We keep these other leaves, test our U-bolts. If our U-bolts are too short, meaning the threads don't tighten up, you may have to stack these on top of here. What I would do then is probably just cut them, and you're just using them to fill up slack. So let's go and reassemble this right now. And then remember the order that you pulled them, because you want to do the same for the other side. So what I'm doing right now is just test fitting the U-bolts to make sure that I have enough threads coming through here to tighten up everything. It's kind of close. What I would want to do is grab another one of the leaves that that we took out and put it on top, just to bring this up a little bit more so that we don't run out of threads when we torque this down. So I'm gonna pull this back out. Drop it, and I'm gonna use this shortest leaf that we took out. I'm gonna cut it to the same length as this top leaf that we have in here. Just stack it on top, and then cinch it down with this centering pin. So let me take a measurement and cut it with the cutoff wheel. So this side's 100% done. Time to repeat the same thing on the other side, and then the rear will be done. Alright, so I'm going to get started on lowering the front. I'm going to do the same thing like the rear. I'm just going to cut the U-bolts and then basically start pulling leaves. On this one, I'm just going to keep the top two leaves and then remove everything underneath it. I'm probably going to take, there's one, two, I'm probably going to take the first or second leaf that we remove, flip it to the above that, and then flip it so it acts like it's de-arching the main leaf. I'll show you up close as I'm doing it. So let's get started by cutting the U-bolt. Wrapped up lowering the truck. I'm gonna go around and show you the final look. I ended up readjusting the rear, going a little lower, like I said I was gonna do. After I jacked up the front, it was getting late, but either way, after I jacked up the front, it ended up being too low with the one leaf spring upside down, de-arching the bottom. So I ended up flipping that the other way around, and it ended up being perfect. Like I said, I'll go around and show you the final leaf count and basically how they're stacked up close. So today we're going to basically mount the wheels that we clear coated on the white walls, get those mounted on the truck, get it on the ground so you can see the final look. So let me get you up close on the leaf springs, and then we'll get going on mounting wheels and tires. Okay, so let me show you a detail on what we ended up on final leaf count. So in the front here, we ended up with 3 final leaves at the bottom that are actually working as leaves. So you have from your main leaf, you have the main leaf, and then another leaf, and another leaf. And then the 2 on top are just taking up the gap so that you have enough threads to tighten up the U-bolts. So these 2 on top are not actually acting as any sort of suspension at all. So we just have 3 leaves that we kept for suspension. This is my actual suspension travel here. I'm looking at a little bit over 2 inches. Maybe about 2.5 inches of suspension travel. I'm gonna end up needing to run. I'm thinking of possibly running some sort of air assist in the front. I know I'm gonna basically be hitting the frame, so I'll probably run some sort of air assist in the front with an onboard compressor and tank and valve, so you can air it up while driving, and then let it out when parked. So let's go to the back. On the back, we ended up running 2 leaves. So again, you have your main leaf and then another leaf, and then the 3 leaves on the top are not acting as any sort of suspension at all. Again, like the front, they're just taking up slack so that you have enough threads on the U-bolts to tighten them. Now in the rear, I do have plenty of suspension travel before the axle even touches the frame. I have more than 4 inches. I've jumped on the rear bumper, and even getting a lot of momentum going, it's very hard to even get it to tap get the axle to tap the frame, and that's with no shocks on it. So I figure with a good shock, you should be fine. Worst case scenario, I could put a C notch in here, or even an air shock. I'm thinking the first thing I would end up doing is put a C notch in here. But that's basically the final setup. I did also off camera replace the center pins all the way around. I know on camera I was reusing the factory center pins, but since I ended up having to reshuffle around the leaf springs, it gave me a chance to go to the hardware store. I replaced the center pins, and then of course the nuts, lock washers and washers with grade 8 hardware. So to me, I consider it a complete job. I don't plan on changing it. So let's go and get the wheels and tires mounted and get this thing on the ground. Actually, also this rear fender, before I mount this this wheel, I think I'm gonna probably address, there is a small dent right here. I don't know if you could tell. I'm gonna try and pop this out, and then also right here, it is pushed in, so I'm gonna try and pop this out real quick before we get this wheel on while I have the space. So let's get going on that. This way we can get on the ground. You guys can see the final stance. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up. I mean, the stance on it I like. um I, the front can definitely go lower in my opinion. But this body style and this is pretty hard to get slammed. The next body style up, the 60 to 66, you could get them to lay out real easily without anything major. This, because of the solid front axle, it really limits a lot. The front, I mean, the rear, I could get to go down. You seen we have at least 4 inches of travel in the rear, still, so I could still get the rear to go down quite a bit more, and then still C-notch it. And you know, a C-notch is nothing. The front, you know, I only got like 2 inches of travel, so there's not really much you could do with this body style. It's really limited with the solid front axle. Same thing with a lot of Fords. Anything with a solid front axle, it really limits what you can do. But I mean, it's night and day from what we started with. And you don't have to go out and buy, I know a lot of people go out and buy, you know, $1,600 monoleaf kits or TCI kits, this and that. I mean, I pretty much, besides buying brand new U-bolts and then you know, some grade 8 hardware, you know, I'm in it less than $100 in just your time, effort, and sweat. You know, it's night and day. You could lay this thing out pretty good. I mean, it's still high considered what the next generation Chevy trucks would look like. But you don't have to go out and buy those expensive kits, and you could get the same look and a great ride. Just as good, honestly, if not better, as long as your leaves are in good condition, not cracked, not cut, not torched, pretty much unmolested, and like I said, not rusted or cracked. This was a California car, so the leaves were in good condition. So I was able to actually go through, weed out which leaves I wanted to keep and which ones I wanted to get rid of, and acquire the stance that I wanted to get with using the stock leaf. So that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. On next episode, I'm gonna probably continue on. I want to get that other door, the original paint door on the driver's side on. I want to continue on doing the going around, seeing if there's any other dents, bodywork that needs to be kind of hammered out before we clear coat it, and then maybe doing some blends. Some of the primer areas I want to kind of maybe go over and blend a little bit more into the green. Again, this door I'm just going to leave as is. I may even do a door logo. I'll show up here some door logos I've done in previous vehicles I've had. So we may even actually do a door logo on this truck, hand painted door logo. And then also too, this truck has a V8 engine in it. Let me open up the hood so you guys can see it. Truck does have a V8 in it. I'm not sure if I'm going to try and get this one running, or I also have another small block Chevy with a Power Glide from I think about between a 60 to a 62 Chevy. So I might put that in there. I prefer this has a stick. I actually prefer automatics. So since I have that, I might put that in here. So we'll see about which one we select, and on either one we'll do a will it run on either engine. So either way, stay tuned and we'll go from there. But either way, we have good contact coming on this truck. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe, And again, thank you for tuning in. Please tune into the next episode. Again, we'll have plenty more interesting content. Thanks.